Welcome, welcome. We got William. We got a big day today. We got some news today. We got the Bitwise ETF going live today, and I got a collection of information that I think you guys are really going to like. I'm a lot more prepared today. Bear with me if I will give you a little bit of a warning. I am having what I like to call a bad head day with my memory fog and stuff. Me if I stumble. Um, but we are going to hop into everything. Let me go ahead and get started. Good morning, XRP Army. Welcome to the channel. As always, if it's your first time here, sit back, relax. I'm not going to ask you to do anything, but if it's your second time, I need you to hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure you comment and engage in the chat. I appreciate every single one of you, and I love speaking with all of you. What time is the ETF launch? Where can we check the inflows? Okay, perfect. We're already getting great questions. Let me get started, and I'm going to hop into that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Yes, it is live. The Bitwise ETF did go live today, and the market is just now opening. So when I'm going to pull this up here for you guys right now as the market goes live here. Boom, 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 boom. Share. So as you can see, I am going to type in XRP. And the first things that come up is XRP crypto and the Bitwise XRP ETF right here listed on Robinhood. And there is no data available yet, which is very odd. Let's take a look here. See, I even looked this up to make sure the ticker was there, guys. I was ready. I was not playing around, but it's not showing any data right now. But as of launch, so far we have 213 and climbing with today. We did have a nice, well, not nice, but we had a little pullback here at 209. But we'll get into this. I know that it is live. They announced it. The final form was put in. The exchange confirmed it. 21 shares confirmed it. So I know it was live. It was all over X. It was all over the internet. So moving on, it is live. Let's see here. The last ETF took about 10 minutes before the data showed up. So there you go. Yeah. So it takes a minute to kick in, but it is live because there's a lot going on. So we do have the live. I mean, you guys want to know about the inflows. Where can we find the inflows? Well, I got the inflows from, what was the last one? Canary Capital's. I got the inflows directly from their website. Let me see if I can, here it is right here. Let me pull it up for you. So Canary Capital's inflows, I actually had it ready, rare, and to go for you all. So Canary Capital inflows, we can take a look at what they've done so far. They are currently holding, here it is, currently holding 138 million XRP valued at $281 million. This is 1 week of holdings, guys. Keep that in mind. We're about to get 6 more, okay? And this is, Canary Capital's small potatoes. This is the injection of institutional demand we're talking about. We're not seeing it in the price chart yet. This takes time. But you can see here, these are facts, figures, numbers. 138 million XRP were taken off of supply by Canary Capital. We just haven't felt those inflows yet, but it is happening. And this is going to be everything for us and our valuation of XRP. My opinion, not financial advice. As always, nothing here is ever financial advice, guys, but I like to give you numbers. I like to give you facts, figures, logic. And I mean, you can see $138 million, boom, off. Oh, okay. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you keeping an eye on it. Let's take a look here. Let me go back to Robinhood. I'll pull it up for you guys so we can see it live on the stream. I want to see it after my Franklin Templeton debacle. I apologize for that. And I've got info on that for you guys as well. Let's see. I'm just going to type in XRP. Boom, Bitwise XRP. Man, they got the best ticker. You're saying it's live on Robinhood. It's still showing no data. This is Robinhood Legend, though. This is the trading chart. I don't really use regular Robinhood. I'm still not seeing it live here, but again, we know it's going live today. How much bigger is Bitwise comparing it with Canary Capital? Bitwise is the fastest growing ETF issuer in the United States. So we can expect more inflows from Bitwise, as well as Franklin Templeton and Grayscale are going to be massive. They're probably 2 times bigger each than both of these combined. Oh, regular Robinhood. Okay, so yeah, it's not up on Legend yet, but it is live. I'm not. I got. Believe me, after the Franklin Templeton debacle that I misreported on, I made sure to check about 4 different sources before I put out that short yesterday. But so I want to touch on this too. So we have the Bitwise. Yeah, there's so many. I keep getting them confused. We have Bitwise going live today. Franklin Templeton could go live. It's up to the exchange on the 24th. And then Grayscale and WisdomTree could both go live. Grayscale and WisdomTree could both go live on Tuesday. And that's what they're discussing. So it looks like we're going to have all 6 of these launched before the end of the month, before Thanksgiving. And when we're talking about $1 to $200 million of inflows, or what, not even $1 to $200 million of inflows, excuse me, $1 to $200 million of XRP being pulled off exchanges in the first week by each of those. That's almost $1 billion. I mean, that could be $1 billion XRP, especially if we're talking about these larger ones. So when we're talking about $1 billion XRP, I brought this up. And I love the chat, guys. I'm going to get to you. I'm trying to stay on topic for everyone as we come in, but I am going to address everything. I promise. Okay. Let's see. So keep it up. I'm going to come back to it. Keep talking. Let's see here. So let's go to this next thing here. So we were talking about how much XRP is actually being pulled off of exchanges by the ETFs. So I pulled this up. XRP supply on exchanges collapses ahead of next round of ETF. XRP is suddenly flashing one of its strongest bullish signals of the year in just 24 hours. 149 million XRP worth $36 million disappeared from exchanges. I did a short on this, okay? This happened literally 1 to 2 days after the first ETF, after the Canary Capital ETF. So with exchange reserves collapsing, ETF demand rising, XRP supporters believe a major supply shock is now forming, one that could send prices much higher. Many are already calling 2025 the year XRP finally makes the big move, with bold predictions of $5, $10 by the end of the year. XRP supply on exchanges is collapsing, according to on-chain researcher Ripple Bullwinkle. That's another YouTuber. So I'm not trusting this, but I did see the report and facts of $149 million worth of XRP leaving exchanges. I reported on that myself, as well as I just went ahead and did a basic dive with underlay, mama, anyway, AI, excuse me. I did a basic search on AI, and I want to show you guys this. This is just Google AI. Any of you can do this, because I wanted something impartial when it comes to the supply squeeze that many people are talking about. So I want to give facts, figures, logic. This is Google AI. This is not me or my interpretation of what is going on. It says, as of mid-November of 2025, approximately $6.82 billion worth of XRP was held on centralized exchanges. So 6.82 billion with a valuation of just over 2, we can say a little right around 3 billion, and XRP is left on exchanges right now. Reflecting a decreasing trend throughout 2025. The total amount of XRP on exchanges has been declining since January of 2023. This data is important, and I'm going to connect a dot here, but again, you take the data for what you will. I'm going to connect a dot, okay? So XRP has been declining since January of 2023. Don't forget, Ripple partnered with the World Economic Forum and started pilot testing many different CBDCs and on-chain things at the end of 2022. That's when that started. And then all of a sudden in January 2023, the price on exchanges starts to decline. I'm connecting a dot, but there's the data for you. Total XRP on exchanges as of mid-November 2025. The total XRP held on exchanges was estimated 6.82 billion. I'm not rereading that. Declining reserves. The overall amount of XRP held on exchanges has been on a downtrend, with analysts attributing this to reduced selling pressure and growing investor confidence. Decline often signals the holders are accumulating XRP for long-term holding. Recent exchange movements. Binance's XRP reserves, for instance, steadily decreased during 2025, falling below 2.7 billion in November. Coinbase also saw a significant drop in visible XRP reserves between June and September. Contributing factors, several factors influence XRP exchanges include regulatory news, growing institutional demand, such as ETFs. So this is completely impartial, bipartisan information. Proof there is a significant decline of XRP in exchanges. Why no one cares? I don't know. But Slow start for Bitwise. Canary was crushing. I think we need to give it a little bit of time. I think there's a lot of people gun shy on the ETFs right now based on the fear and greed index. And I've got that one for you here as well. Let's talk about that. Because it's all a fluent tapestry, right? It's a picture of macroeconomics, psychology, technical analysis. It all plugs in together. But I will give you a tidbit of good news. Okay. This fear and greed index was at a 10 yesterday when we looked at it. It's risen to a 16. So, and it rose to a 14 while we were on the stream. So, I mean, it's still an extreme fear, but it is steadily rising. So hopefully that's a good sign. But again, this changes on the dime. But typically, historically, if you go back and look at the history of XRP, usually in these indices of extreme fear, they do significantly well afterwards. Not financial advice, but you can check the history yourself on it. I mean, that's just a fact. So Bitwise launches its XRP. Let's see here. I'm going to pull this article up for you because this is kind of a victory lap thing here. Bitwise launches XRP ETF, rivals cap 293 million weeks. So Canary Capital did 293 million of inflows in its first week. That is amazing. Okay. The XRP exchange traded fund boom is accelerating. Today is the day we're launching the Bitwise XRP ETF, said Bitwise on X. That's what I looked at yesterday to announce for you guys. Make sure I got the good stuff. Let's see here. That's a big step forward. XRP, the world's third largest crypto asset, which aims to reshape the market, global payments. Highly anticipated launch by the $15 billion digital asset manager arrives on the back of a week that Canary Capital spot XRP ETF, so many acronyms, pulled in 293 million. That same week, Bitcoin and ETFs saw nearly 2 billion in selling pressure. Think about that. Okay, I know the price isn't reflecting it right now. There is, I'm not going to speculate, but there's selling pressure in Ethereum and there's selling pressure in Bitcoin, and there's massive inflows in XRP while the entire market is down. That's the not financial advice, but that sounds like the beginning of a decoupling to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. And that's what we're going to need. In order for XRP to decouple in the way we think it's going to, there's going to be significant pain in the rest of the market and in the rest of crypto and in XRP in the beginning. And that's kind of what I think we're seeing now is the beginning of that. So Bitwise new ETF arrives as a flood of XRP ETFs as shown on the DTC listing website, which includes Wall Street heavyweights like Franklin Templeton, 21 Shares, ProShares, CoinShares, and Grayscale announced on Wednesday that it will throw its hat into the XRP ring. This is all confirmed, already got tickers up on DTCC, just waiting on the dates for it to go live. And again, that's up to the exchange. So I will not confirm those until it is confirmed by the actual issuers. XRP isn't selling off because of the ETF. Max Zarlino of Shore Labs told DL News, we're in a cycle where macro conditions and institutional flows drive price, not retail hype around the headlines. ETF approvals are a strong confidence signal. They validated XRP's legitimacy with institutions and set up a healthier foundation for long-term adoption, even if the immediate market reaction is muted. So this is what we've been talking about the entire time. It's going to take time to build this pipeline. Okay. It wasn't going to be a massive spike until the supply runs out. Everyone talks about, hang on a second. Let me get out of here. Everyone talks about the massive spike, right? Everyone's waiting for it to pop overnight. And it's not going to come like people are thinking. If there is going to be some kind of supply shock, we're going to see it coming based on the inflows, based on the available supply on exchanges. So we will see it getting nearer to that. And then if there is a supply shock, then it will pop. So if that entire theory is true, we will see a gradual ramp and we'll be able to see it in the inflows. And then one day it's going to be a panic and then FOMO and go. That's kind of what they're thinking. That's the concept of that. Let's take a look. So we've covered the Bitwise, we've covered upcoming ETFs, we've covered what they actually mean as far as the examples of the inflows that can come in 1 week and what's actually being removed from exchanges as far as XRP goes. We covered the fear and greed index. I've beaten ad nauseum earlier this week about recession and things like that. Let's see here. This is what I wanted to show you guys, because this is the kind of fear we're dealing with here. So we're talking about the Franklin Templeton ETF, right? Being one of the biggest ones, okay? Analyst says Franklin Templeton XRP ETF could save XRP from a crash to 66 cents. Let's see here. The broader crypto market seeing pressure declines over the past few weeks. XRP has not escaped the onslaught. Specifically, the crypto asset has lost over $43 billion from its market cap since October, with prices down by more than 27% within the period. XRP now trades at a lower end of $2 range, changing hands at $2.11. The multi-myth XRP symmetrical triangle, notably amid this downtrend, block bull, a well-known market analyst has called attention to a mere trouble developing on the weekly XRP chart. In recent analysis, the market watcher pointed out that XRP had broken below a crucial symmetrical triangle they had held since July of 2025. Specifically, while the lower ascending trend line is a symmetrical triangle, emerged following the recovery of the $1.60 low in April of 2025, providing support. The upward descending trend line took shape in 2025 after XRP collapsed. So what are they saying? They're saying it looks bad from a technical analysis prospect from XRP. I look at macro analysis more than I do the daily analysis when I'm trying to decipher what I'm going to do with my stuff. That's why I always look at the 1 hour chart unless we're, doing something specific. But that being said, do I have any more here for you? Yes, I do. I've got one more good one, and I want you guys to pay real close attention to this, because this is the stuff that most people miss. I think it's important. So is XRP overhauled or a critical flag? $149 in daily network revenue. First, I want to point out that people watch this stuff. There is no revenue on the XRPL. It is burned. So this is the common misconception, and I hate this negative attention that they draw to XRP in this way. So I want you, you guys comment, take a listen. I'm going to read what it says. It said, yesterday, users of XRP, the blockchain, it's XRPL, the blockchain, XRPL, the blockchain responsible for securing over 127 billion worth of native coins, received less than $1,600 in network fees. It does not collect network fees. Specifically, the ledger burned a mere 711 XRP as fees to protocol. At least they corrected themselves. The dismal amount was a monetary dip and embarrasses the XRP army on social media, but the fact pretty much representative of an average day in the world of the third largest blockchain. We're used to this. The day prior, users burned 721 XRP in fees. Indeed, over the last 3 months, there's never been a day with more than 5,000 worth of XRP burned, with most days seeing less than 2,000. Crypto finance trackers, blah, 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 blah. Someone else screenshotted tracker displaying $149 in a full day. So they're basically picking on XRP because it doesn't make money on the ledger. And that is the point. It's not. The whole point of the XRP ledger is to provide cheap means of payments, guys. So they're literally they're beating it up because it doesn't follow staking and it doesn't follow other ways to make money on the XRPL. But we've talked about that too. They are discussing native staking on the XRPL. And that is coming from not me and not some bogus person. That's coming from David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, and soon to be former CTO of Ripple. But it says Ripple is now exploring whether staking, a feature used in many major blockchains, could eventually be introduced to the XRP ledger. The idea came into focus after Ripple X engineering head Io Ankiel, I'm sorry if I butchered that, explained how staking might strengthen network security and give XRP more real-world utility to global DeFi activities. Ripple says nothing is confirmed yet, but it's actively studying how staking could fit into XRPL's long-term development. According to Ankiel, staking could help the XRPL grow by encouraging more people to take part in validating and securing the network. Currently, XRP transaction fees are burned instead of being shared with participants. While this keeps the supply slightly deflationary, it does not reward those who support the ledger. Staking could change this by offering incentives similar to what we see on other networks like Ethereum, Solana, and Cosmos. Ripple also wants the XRPL to stay competitive as more companies begin using XRP for treasury management and investment products. Adding a staking model would show that the network is adapting to a market where rewards, incentives, and token participations are becoming standard across DeFi. This is early concepts, no final decision. Ripple CTO David Schwartz shared 2 early concepts of how staking might work. So they are actively looking into this, guys. We could have native staking options for XRPL in the near future. Ripple CTO David Schwartz shared 2 early concepts for how staking might work, but emphasized that both ideas are still in research phase. One idea involves a 2-layer structure where a smaller validator group receives staking rewards while the larger validator set continues managing the network. And I won't continue reading this and bore you, but it goes on to say there are some concerns as far as validators then being able to pick their friends. So when you get into a staking situation like this, when you have Ripple who holds what 35 billion of the supply in escrow, there could be, a tit for tat using your friends and having special fees for special friends, things like that. So it does open the door to bad things. But the cool thing is Schwartz was calling that out. Ripple's been very transparent. It's one of the reasons why I like them, because they even, openly call it out. It gives them power, and they don't like that. They like to keep it open and decentralized, which is great. So now I'm going to hop into all the questions here. So I appreciate you all. Let me get to the top here. Brian, where can we check inflows? I think I answered that. I pull the inflows directly from the websites now. I really don't like X unless it's directly from something I trust, like the Washington Post, or from the actual issuer or something like that, because it's getting crazy out there. I barely trust anyone as far as the information coming out. Chris Carpenter, the last ETF took about 10 minutes before the data showed up. I'm going to check into it later when I get through here. I'm going to check into it, see if it showed up on Robinhood Legend. But thank you for the update, Chris. 23.95 just hit Robinhood. It is showing data on Robinhood now. Thank you. How much bigger is Bitwise comparing it to Canary Capital? I would say it's at least, off the top of my head, at least twice as big, if not 3 times as big, considering the acceleration it's had in the US. But it's had a slow start to this point, so it sounds. Let's see here. William watched an interesting video response to Jake Claver and reverse carry trade. Someone asked Gronk when we would see results of the reverse carry trade. It said the first quarter of 2026. And that's kind of what I was saying with the reverse carry trade, because I've been saying that. I've mentioned it several times. I showed you guys the actual document. It was in a short, maybe it was in a short, maybe it was in a regular video. Anyway, I showed the actual document from Japan, pretty much of their monetary policy, pretty much saying we're hiking in December. And from that moment on, the carry trade has slowly started to unwind. You can see it. It's happening in front of us. People are liquidating Bitcoin. They're getting out of the risk on assets. There's fear and blood in the streets. And that all started at the end of October when that was announced, literally. It could be a coincidence. I don't know. But definitely, I've been keeping a very, very close eye on the carry trade and the repo markets and all of those things that are tied together. And that's why I've been reporting them to you, because there is a massive liquidity crisis happening right now in the world. And I think we're all hoping that they decide to move on XRP to fix that issue sooner rather than later. It'd be better for the entire world and better for us to pump our bags. Moving on here. Let's see here. Thanks for answering your question. Absolutely. I love answering questions. Canary crushing Bitwise today. Slow start for Bitwise. It's one. Remember, we're not going to feel the day one treasuries. We're not going to feel the day one inflows right away. It takes time. It's fun to watch. It's fun to track. But I'm happy. I'm just happy. 134 million XRP left the market last week because of Canary Capital. If they start taking think about it, guys, if these issuers, this is one ETF. So say we get, I don't know what, 3, 4, say we get all 6 going this month, and they're pulling, one's doing 100. So between 6, it's going to slow down. Let's be very realistic, right? So let's say between 6 ETFs going, they're pulling $300 million or 300 million XRP a week off of exchanges. Remember, we had one that pulled 123 million off in not even a full week, 4 days. So if we have 6 XRP ETFs live and they're pulling 300 million XRP off of exchanges a week, and we've already discussed that there's about 2 to 3 billion XRP left on exchanges, which we showed the proof of that. How fast until they run out? With the reverse carry trade going on, someone else in the chat just said that there was a video that came out said it's like, that Grok said that the reverse carry trade is supposed to kick off in the beginning of Q1. I don't know. That timeline seems to add up, doesn't it? As far as XRP being removed from exchanges when the predicted reverse carry trade start to fully unwind. That's crazy. We just figured that out together. Thank you for that. That was great. Thank you for that, William. I appreciate that. Let's see. Edward Wisdom Keeper, Seeker of Truth. I love the Seeker of Truth, Edward. Yes, a decoupling from the dinosaur is what we need ASAP. Not financial advice. Nothing in these videos and live streams is financial advice, but I fully believe that's coming. I do. And here's the thing, as it sits, it's going to look really nasty out there when this happens. It's going to be painful, and it's going to look scary for us as XRP holders too. But that's why everyone's like, oh, it's crashing, it's crashing, it's crashing. I don't care about the price. I keep it for context and watch it for context. I'm waiting for the utility to turn on. Me personally, not financial advice. Let's see. I bought 5,000 XRP, half at 220 and half at 205. New bag. Congratulations for you. Weighted dollar cost average. Smart. I love it. Oh, you may have missed my video. Yeah, well, no, I mean, I put out so many videos. It's hard to keep track. I bought Bitcoin at 15K, watched 11 to ETS drop for a bit, and then 2 months after 100K. The same thing will happen to XRP. I really hope so, Hawaii Rider. I really hope so, but I will put a form of caution, okay? I really do think Bitcoin's price is really, really manipulated by Tether and US Treasuries. And do some research on this yourself. But until I know exactly what Tether's holding to back their stable coin, I don't trust it. And there is a direct correlation between Tether minting more stable coins and Bitcoin going up. So that scares me, concerns me. Other than that, I do agree that the inflows are going to push XRP up, and it's a matter of time until we run out of XRP on exchanges. Let's see. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Janine. Appreciate you all. And hey, I covered everything. I feel like this has been a great stream. Any other questions? I'm going to pull up Canary Capital and see if it's on Legend yet. Or not Canary Capital. Man, my brain is not working today. Bitwise. I apologize. XRP Bitwise ETF. Here we go. Now we have something. Not a good start to Canary Capital, but it always goes down right when it starts. So in the first hour or half hour, we are seeing at 23.69 for Canary Capital. Very low volume. Let's change this so we're not looking at our. Maybe we can get something. Yeah, very low volumes other than the selling pressure right at the launch. So it's just rebalancing. We'll see where it finishes up at the end of the day. I mean, remember the Canary Capital looked 10 times worse than this when it launched. It was blood in the streets that day. Let's see here. I mean, at least as far as the chart went, right? So that's actually great. Let's hop into that. Oh, no. We don't want to do that. Boom. That's actually a great point of emphasis. When we were looking at the chart for Canary Capital when it launched, it was blood in the streets that day. XRP had a huge sell the news event, right? Huge sell the news event. And then when we turn around and look at the end of the day, it had record-breaking inflows. It had record-breaking volume for the year. Keep in mind, there are 900 ETFs that launched this year, and the XRP ETF beat them all. And if you look at the scale of ETFs releasing over the last 10 years, 900 is by far the most to release in a year, and XRP broke those records. So, I mean, the money's coming. The institutional inflows are coming. XRP is being pulled off of exchanges. I mean, it's all happening, and it's happening great. And man, the price is not reflecting it. Let's see here. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out XRP will go to the moon. I've been invested in XRP since Brad had black hair. Good point. I started investing in XRP back in 2019 is when I got exposure to it. Where would we go to find out the info at the end of the day to see what the stats are? Well, you can always check my channel. I'll try to do a short to update you guys on what it is at the end of the day. But you could also, just to give you an example, I know you were late to the stream, so I'll put up for anyone late to the stream. You can always go directly to the issuer's website, and they should have it updated on their website. So this is Canary Capital. You can go under ETFs. This is what they did last week. We covered this earlier in the video. They had their inflows, their holdings currently after their first week is 138,582,000 XRP, valued at 281,877. So this is what has been actively removed from the exchanges and from the supply since as of November 20th, since Canary Capital has gone live. That is the best way to find the most accurate data. I hope that answers your question, Janine. How much market cap rise would be a record number? How much market cap rise? Market cap rise. I'm not exactly sure. You're asking about the overall market cap of XRP. I'm referring to inflows of actual cash into ETFs as far as volume and total net profits and what's being removed from exchanges. I'm not necessarily talking about market cap. Those do correlate to market cap in the end once supply is removed, but at the same time, it's what's the question? Goddamn stroke brain. Sorry for my language. I lost my thought. I'm sorry. It happens to me sometimes, guys. I have short-term memory loss issues, and I'll be in the middle of a sentence and completely forget what I was talking about. It happens way too often. It's the first time you guys have actually seen it happen on a live stream. So let me find the question again here. How much market cap would rise be a record number? I don't know the answer of what an actual rise in market cap in a single day would look like for cryptocurrency. Maybe I'm sure. Well, maybe we can Google it. Let's check AI. Let's see what AI has to say. Let's see. Let's see what Google AI say. What is the record market cap increase for a cryptocurrency in one day? And I'll pull this up for you guys here. Oh, that's not the right one. Oh, yeah, it is. It's just got a different tone. So what is the record market cap? While an official verifiable record for the biggest single day market cap increase for cryptocurrency is not maintained, Bitcoin's gain on November 11, 2024 is a strong candidate. On that day, Bitcoin's price jumped from $8,343 to $88,000 after opening at $80,000. This massive surge led to an unprecedented increase in its market capitalization, a gain of over 70 billion. So that is our measuring stick, 70 billion in one day. Let's see here. I bought XRP at 35 cents and 45 cents. Nice. I remember getting XRP at 8 cents when I first started buying it. Man, I what the world would have been like had I not been liquidated. Let's see here. 42 cents, but then I sold some like an idiot, bought more later. It's all about setting records for a life-changing asset. Guy bought XRP at 17 cents. Wow, 17 cents would be awesome. 50K XRP at 17 cents. Wow, wish 17 cents. Got into 2024 at $2. Yeah, so I want to say I got my XRP. Gosh, I first got involved with it. I want to say it was sub 10 cents. It's a long time ago. It was, like I said, back in 2019. I want to say it was sub 10 cents at that point. I had quite a large stack. I want to say I had about 40,000 XRP at that time. And it shot up. And during the 2021, I did not sell anything. I was that guy. I took no profits. And then I had a divorce the following year in 2023 or in 2022, going into 2023 when we were in the midst of the SEC lawsuit before all that was settled, and I had to liquidate everything at its pretty much lowest point. It was painful, painful, especially seeing what it's looking at right now. Let's see. Boxing Day 2024 for me, XRP at $2. Anything under $5 is a good price, to be honest. We can buy XRP for $2. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, I mean, that we're here. I think this group of people here understands the concept of the long view term of XRP. That's why we're all here. We're not here for what XRP is going to do today or tomorrow. We're here for what XRP is going to do in the next 5 to 10 years and what we think is possible. Now, granted, price matters. We all want to get rich. We all want to make money, not financial advice. I mean, of course, and we all hate to see our bags go down. But in the end, I have, regardless of what's happening with the price day to day, I have the utmost confidence on the long-term view. Dude, your keyboard is proper ASI. I'm glad you like it. I'm not a hard typer. That completely derailed my thought. But we're all here for the long-term view. We're here for what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. And because of that, if the price, I mean, it would suck. Don't get me wrong. But if the price were to fall to 50 cents today, I would just be looking at it as a buying opportunity. Unless something critical happened with XRP that make it less valuable to me, then, I mean, nothing's changed in its fundamentals. I'd be there. Adam, will people in the chat sell their bag once it gets to the price they want or borrow against it, just like a yearly yield? William says, I'm 39, so what's retirement age again? I got nothing. Let's see here. Turn in playing catch up listens. So if someone could answer any past questions that I may have covered in the chat, I'd appreciate that. Help out so I can continue the flow here. I'm 41, and unfortunately, I'm being forced to retire now. This is my retirement, guys. You're looking at it. I can't work a normal job anymore, so here I am. So this is what retirement looks like for me. And let's see here. I am from India. I buy 500 XRP. Congratulations. I just added to my bag yesterday. Not financial advice, but I just added to my bag yesterday as well. And so far, it's been a good investment today. But again, I'm undeterred by the price. Let's see what we're doing. Let's check in on both I keep saying Canary Capital. Let's check in on 21 shares, and 21 shares is still falling for its launch. Again, this is normal. It's always too high to begin with. Same thing happened with Canary Capital, and they had record inflows. Let's see what XRP is doing. XRP, not crap, not CRP, XRP. All right, let's take a look at XRP. Come on now, load. Down to 210. So we're still hanging out. It was a nice spike up yesterday, right up to 213, 213.5 this morning. Let's see. Let's take a look at the questions. I'm passing XRP down to my kids. I love the chats, guys. If you didn't catch what was said, Jacob, I added the bag 2 days. Let's go. Good job, retirement at 41. Nice. Believe me, William, I wish I wasn't retired. I hate it. It's not by choice. It's by the fact that every time I use my brain too much, apparently I have a stroke or a brain bleed. And I've had 3 strokes and 2 hemorrhages to this point. I tried to go back to work last time. I went back to work for 3 years after I had the 2 strokes, and then I started having hemorrhages. So they won't let me do it anymore. Let's take a look here. What's my realistic plan for when I become a millionaire? Realistically, because not everyone is going to do the whole Wyoming LLC thing that Jake Claver advises. Prediction price of XRP. Again, if you guys are new to my streams, I do not like to do price predictions. I will give you possibilities. If the supply shock we were discussing at length throughout this live stream does come to fruition, I think there is a chance to see an XRP between $10 to $25 by the end of the year. I am more focused on the utility and adoption of the asset. I am here for the goddamn brain today. I am here for the utility and adoption. I think when the adoption turns on, the Clarity Act, the banking charter, the Fed master account, These things are going to turn on the infrastructure, in my opinion, not financial advice. So that is what I am looking for. Try to inform certainly family members about investing in XRP. They look at me like I asked them for an arm and a leg. Yeah, I get the same thing, William. I still try. And then honestly, that's why I started YouTube. I still try. I've told my dad about it 8 times and he thinks I'm crazy. Bitwise just passed Canary Capital on open day volume for the day. Really? I'll have to, well, let's take a look here. That's amazing. Let's pull that up. Let me find it. Bitwise XRP ETF. Let's go to their website. Where's the website? I want to see Bitwise. Bitwise XRP ETF ticker launch on nice. Come on now. I don't want this stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good website before I come on here and give you guys bad information. Pray, make a good relationship with God. God is real. God helps good people. It definitely doesn't help Satan worshipers. Oh my goodness. Bitcoin is falling, sir. Why Bitcoin is falling? Bitcoin is falling because of liquidity issues and macroeconomic pressure, in my opinion. Fear and greed index is through the moon. And I believe we will see eventually, my opinion, not financial advice, it's not a very popular one. I do think we will eventually see sometime, I don't know when. I think it may have another pump left in Bitcoin before it does it, but I do think we will eventually see a crash of Bitcoin. And I will see that money being liquidated and then reinvested into other things. Also, Bitcoin liquidations could be falling into the reverse carry trade with hawkish pressure coming from Japan. How confident are you that supply shock will happen? We were looking at it today. I'm fairly confident. I'll break it down to you guys who's new in the stream. The stream's up to 96. Hey, let's take a moment. I want to take a moment and thank every single one of you in the stream. This is the largest amount of congruent viewers I have had in the stream since I started this a week ago. It is amazing. I love every single one of you. We got 91 people going, 43 minutes long. XRP Army, you freaking rock. This is amazing. All right, let's keep going. All right. So let's talk about this. So what was the question? Let me get back to the question. How confident a supply shock will actually happen? Okay, so we covered this earlier. I'll pull it back up because we got a lot of new people in this stream and a lot of people are asking about supply shock. So I will pull this up for you again. XRP left on exchange. I did this in front of the people in the stream earlier. I asked Google AI, so we had an impartial. Sorry, my brain is not working today. I appreciate y'all sticking with me on this. So we had an impartial, bipartisan opinion on what's actually happening with the supply left on exchanges and a potential of a supply shock. So as of mid-November 2025, approximately $6.82 billion worth of XRP was held on centralized exchanges. So $6.82 billion worth of XRP is about 3 to 3.5 billion XRP. Reflecting a decreasing trend throughout 2025, the total amount of XRP on exchanges has been declining since January of 2023. Again, Ripple announced their partnership with the World Economic Forum and started testing pilots and CBDCs at the end of 2022. Just throwing that little piece of info in there for you, suggesting that investors are increasingly moving their holdings to private wallets for long-term storage. Total XRP on exchanges as of mid-November 2025, I just read that to you. They repeat themselves, declining reserves. The overall amount of XRP held on exchanges has been on a downward trend, with analysts attributing it to reduced selling pressure and growing investor confidence. Decline often signals that holders are accumulating XRP for long-term holding. Recent exchange movements. Binance XRP reserves, for instance, steadily decreased during 2025, falling to 2.7 billion. Coinbase also saw a significant drop in visible XRP reserves. So in regards to this, I coupled this information with, where'd it go? I coupled this information with the Canary Capital inflows from last week. So there's proof. Google AI, not me. Google AI saying there's about 3 to 4 billion worth of 3 to 4 billion XRP left on exchanges. So if we look at Canary Capital's outflows, they took in 138,582,000 XRP in their first week. That was what was effectively removed from supply from one ETF in 1 week. Okay. So if we extrapolate this, and now again, let's be extra safe in our thoughts and our assumptions. If we extrapolate this over 6 more additional ETFs launching over the next week, let's be ultra conservative and say only 300 million XRP leaves the exchanges per week. That is ultra conservative compared to these numbers. So if say 300 million XRP leaves exchanges per week, with 6 of these going, and there's roughly 3.5 to 4 billion left in supply, Google AI, not me. So if there's roughly 3 to 4 billion left in supply, we're going to run out of XRP in roughly 10 to 12 weeks. That's just simple math. Okay, so now, of course, there's a lot more to it than that. I'll get there. There's a lot of them. My millionaire plans. I'll get you. But yeah, so of course, there's a lot more to it than that. But that is as basic math as it can get. This much, we can see it. This much XRP is coming out of the supply. Here's how much available supply there is. It's that simple. It's a matter of time, and that's why I've been so stoked about the ETFs and what they can do. It's not a matter of what's going to happen in a day. Yeah, you guys are right. Why is the price falling? If all this is happening, why is the price falling? The price is falling. The price is falling. Yeah, the price is falling, but at the same time, 150 million XRP is leaving exchanges in 10 days, guys. It takes time. It takes time. Know what you hold, not financial advice. Know what you hold. The price is there for context. And we showed this yesterday, or we showed this last week with Canary Capital's launch when we had a massive sell the news event, but yet they took in 138 million XRP. So we'll see how it plays out. But if you also take that 10 to 12 weeks and you tie it into what Japan's doing with their rate hikes and what we're talking about with rate cuts in December, now I'm hearing rumors of a 50 basis point cut in December because jobs data is coming in so poor. Like, we are literally balancing on the edge of a knife in regards to recession, people. And I get giddy about it because I see these kind of inflows. I see XRP coming off the exchanges, and I see the potential for a supply shock. And I know XRP fixes these problems. My opinion, not financial advice. Let's see here. Dang, bro, what did you buy in at? Buy low, bring your cost average down. I don't know if you guys are talking to me, but let's see. So my millionaire question, I have said this before in a previous live stream, but we have a lot of new people. We're over 100 now. You all rock. Thank you so much. But I brought this up on a previous live stream. I personally am a buy and die kind of person when it comes to XRP. I have no plans on selling. I plan on borrowing against it. I plan on borrowing no more than 20%. Okay, I am not going to get margin called. Again, me, not financial advice. I think if XRP goes to the prices we all hope it can, I think 20% would be more than enough for me to reinvest and build some more cash flow. So my plan, a lot of you guys don't know, but XRP, I feel like I need to give you, if I'm going to talk about my ultimate millionaire plan, I need to give you some context, because it's not just about XRP. I follow the debasement trade. I did a short on it, but I personally follow the debasement trade, which is the collapse of fiat currency, which we have seen a 90% reduction in buying power of the US dollar since 1971. When we came off the gold standard, and over a 25% reduction in buying power since COVID. So the dollar is fading fast, as well as other world fiat currencies. So I learned about this back in 2016, and that's when I started finding crypto, found Bitcoin, found XRP in 2019. I personally invest in gold, silver, deflationary assets like Bitcoin and XRP. Again, Bitcoin for now. I need to do a whole separate video on my theory on Bitcoin. But so I invest in Bitcoin, XRP, and other deflationary assets as like gold and silver, real estate, as well as utility tokens, such as Chainlink. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by the comments. So, I am focusing basically my my plan is based on the collapse of the current economic system. So that's me. I could be very wrong or I could be very right, and I believe I'm very right. I haven't believed in anything this much in a long time, or I haven't believed in anything this much in a long time. So I believe I'm right. I'm curious to hear your all's thoughts and plans. I'm trying to keep everything involved. Post on the channel so you guys can vote and let me know your opinions. Comments and chats are always welcome. Oh, let's see here. Let me get caught up in the chat. I've been, man, what exactly? I'm trying to catch everyone. I'll do my best. What time exactly this new ETF from Bitwise is starting? It's already started. I'll pull it up here. Honestly, I still keep some XRP on Robinhood, but most of the time it's in tandem. Most of my XRP is in cold storage or in institutional custody. I do have a little bit that I keep on Robinhood as well. And actually, to be completely honest with you, Robinhood is where my daughter does her investing. My daughter's 13 and she likes to invest too. So when she gets money from, birthdays and stuff like that. So that's the account I opened for her. And she likes to be able to see everything. So I leave it up there for her. So what you guys actually see when I'm doing my chart analysis and stuff like that is actually my daughter's account. Thank you for explaining this. Just 100 XRP at 100,000 is more than enough to retire if you put it to work for you. Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. We have no idea what these prices are going to do. Everyone has their own investment plan. Everyone has their own thoughts and opinions and what this can do and everyone has their own liquidity and what they can afford. The important thing is you guys are here looking at your futures. Okay. You're already ahead of the curve. Here's a good example. 75%, and I don't have the stats here in front of you, but I promise 75% of our country has zero exposure to any cryptocurrency. And of that 25% that does, 95% of that is in Bitcoin. So if you're already here looking at the utility assets in any way, shape, or form, you're already ahead of, 90% of the country. So congrats to you guys for doing that and for putting your future first. Over the counter, they're not buying off exchanges. Yes, that's why we're not seeing any impact in price when they're buying these things. They do it from OTCs and dark pools. Yes, these are real. OTC is an over-the-counter exchange where basically the authorized participants, if you saw the ETF video, where basically the authorized participants go to people they already have relationships and purchase large quantities of XRP without impacting the market. It still comes from the supply. It still comes from the spot market, but you're not going to see it in these exchange prices. Okay. It's specifically there so we don't have major volatility spikes in the price. That's exactly why they do it. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but do you think that the price is being suppressed by big corporations to buy out the regular consumers? Okay, so here's my theories on price suppression and conspiracy theories. For those of you who have seen me many times, I am a facts, figures, logic kind of person. I do not like to speculate all that much. And when I do, I will definitely tell you I am. So I try to present the facts and my opinions on the facts and let you guys make up your own mind. So in regards to price suppression, I do not think that's a thing. And here's why. Okay. My overall theory of investing is follow the money. Okay. So if you were a company or institution and you were holding billions and millions or billions of XRP, why would you want to suppress the price? You're costing yourself money. Unless the only reason would be is if you knew by doing so, it was going to make you money in the future. So, and that's a lot of ifs, whats, and coconuts on, if they're suppressing the price. Could there potentially be a reason for it? Yes. However, I like to follow the money, and billions and billions and billions of reasons tell people that's not what they're doing. Just my opinion. Let's see here. Yeah. For those of you who are in here now, you'll have to go back and rewatch. I did the entire show and I started doing Q&A at like 25 minutes. And this is just turned on to, a ramble with y'all. And I absolutely love it. Let's see here. How you feeling? Feeling great. I feel wonderful. They don't buy XRP until they have the orders. That's right. They need to have the order creation. So they have their original batch of XRP. And until the liquidity uses up that XRP, they don't have to go buy more. So order creations are what actually cause the XRP to come off the exchange. You're absolutely right. Interesting how they've been timing ETF releases right around 11/22 ISO 20022. Could be the greatest factor in institutional buys. It could. ISO 20022 will be a major thing, but remember that's more messaging standards. Now it is going to force people. The whole thing was this what ISO 2022. Everyone was expecting a switch. Okay, I never looked at it that way. It's a part of it. Okay, so ISO 2022 is messaging standards. Okay, it's not the actual flow. It's how banks have to communicate with each other. So I don't think that's going to have as dramatic of an impact on the price as people think it does. However, because XRP is and the XRP ledger is one of the only positioned ledgers that utilizes that messaging standard, it opens up the XRP ledger as an option for banks. And that's also why they have been plugging in and getting things like G Treasury and Ripple Prime, and they're building out the infrastructures that it can plug right into traditional finance. Let's see. Interesting how so Jake Claver in his stream last night said he believed we could reach 50K by end of Trump's term. Okay, he has good information, and I like Jake. I like to see. I really hope his theories are right. Okay, but just remember when you're taking in information, remember what you're taking in and what people have to gain from any information they're handing out. He has a business that is fortified around people buying and storing XRP. Okay. So just keep in mind when you're hearing these crazy predictions, all right, use your brain, connect some dots, do your own research. For the love of God, do your own research. Even I hope you all trust me, and I love that you trust me. Do your own research. Can't be truth when I see those million YouTuber clowns talking about XRP. Jake is a clown. I have faith in Jake. Time will tell. I hope Jake is right. I do. I hope Jake is right. But you know, I am not banking my life on it. Let's put it that way. Wall Street getting the cheap. I do believe Wall Street's getting the cheap. XRP ETF's getting their cut first plan. Did the government own XRP? Yes, they have XRP. I'm not answering that. Dragonizable answered that. I am not sure. I believe, to my knowledge, our government's crypto reserves is held from what they have confiscated. So if they have confiscated XRP, then yes, they hold some. But to my knowledge, to public knowledge or any knowledge, I might be able to try and go find, they are not actively out purchasing XRP. Let's see here. However, I personally think that BlackRock's kind of the redheaded stepchild of the government pulling the financial triggers in the stock market, but that's speculative theory. Let's see. Yeah, government has XRP, strategic crypto reserves. Sorry, late. 30, 40 months, most XRP could be released. We watched what Bitcoin did, 9%. I've been buying XRP since 28 cents. Welcome. They announced a few months ago. Okay. They can burn a huge escrow amount anytime. There has been talks about that, actually. I did hear that they were discussing potentially burning, just randomly destroying XRP to increase the price so they could utilize it for utility. That is another option that people have not been talking about. I haven't come out there with it yet, but I do think it's interesting that Ripple even floated the idea of doing that. But yeah, they could potentially. Okay, this is an excellent question. Thank you. What is the possibility of Ripple becoming a bank? In my opinion, 1,000,000%. They built all the infrastructure for it. They're not going to give up. In my opinion, Ripple will be a bank. My opinion, not financial advice. To me, that's a guarantee. I'd be willing to bet huge money on that. It's a matter of when, not a matter of if, on if Ripple is going to become a bank. Isn't Trump Media the number 6 holder of XRP? I think that's unconfirmed. I'm not going to say yes on that. I don't have the details. I don't like doing the speculation. Rumors of XRP native staking, that is under discussion. We covered that earlier, Stephen. Go back and rewatch. I covered that in fully with an article. There are talks from both from Ripple executives about them working on native staking to increase competitiveness for XRPL. What would happen with XRP price concerning ISO 22 or ISO 20022? I personally don't think it's going to have as major of an effect as people think. Me personally, I think it's another form of the pipes turning on. But again, ISO 20022 is a messaging center. So when it becomes mandatory, it forces people to use that, and XRPL is compliant with ISO 20022. So it's an excellent option for banks to choose, which is why I think Ripple has been aggressively expanding so much this last year, because they're the only cryptocurrency with regulatory clarity. They're the only one that's deemed not to be a security. And so a lot of people are feeling more comfortable investing with them, and they are going out and building out all this infrastructure before clarity and before ISO 2022 and before ETFs. So they are ready to go when everything comes into place. My opinion, that is my view of what Ripple has been doing. But guys, this has been great. We got up to 119 people today. We're over an hour long. I'm going to pull up the XRP and Canary Capital, or not Canary Capital, at 21 shares and XRP. I'm going to get out of here for you and leave you all with it. Let's see. XRP currently right now sitting at 2097. Everyone's saying sell off. Don't forget, end of day yesterday, we were down to 20. What? That's not yesterday. Where are we at? Yeah. We were down to 208. What, yesterday? I thought we got lower. Did we get down lower? Anyway, yeah, we were down 208 yesterday. So, and again, we had to sell off. Very important to note, we had to sell off when Canary Capital's ETF went live, and they took 130 million XRP off of the supply and had record-breaking inflows. Oh, we got down to 202 yesterday. I knew that's what it was, 203, because I bought it 203. Sorry, guys, my brain is... I have short-term memory loss issues, so sometimes I immediately forget things. What would it mean if they become a bank? If they become a bank, Rachel, that means they are directly plugged into everything. They can settle anything. It just gives them it plugs them into every single part, especially the Fed Master account. It plugs them into every single part of the world economy for settling, tokenized treasuries, tokenized stocks, real estate, like all of these things are coming on Ledger. I mean, it's grown. I want to say, I know it went from like 1 billion to 18 billion in 18 months, right? So they're basically growing think about that. So in 18 month, we saw an 1,800% increase in tokenized assets. And that's just accelerating and going to continue to accelerate. So, good evening from Manila. Okay. All right, guys, but that is going to be the end. I'm going to pull up Bitwise, and I'm going to get out of here. Let's see. Bitwise XRP. XRP Bitwise. Come on. I hit the wrong button. It's taking its time to load. Here's the Bitwise ETF. Boom. All right. So Bitwise ETF currently at 23.49. Buying volume has been increasing. That is a good sign. So it had its drop at the very beginning. We have higher buying volume than we do selling volume. That is always a good look. And if you're looking at technical analysis, which again, we're here for the long view, but I'll break. I don't have that yet, Dragonizable. It hasn't released yet. When it does release, when I get a firm release of what the actual volume inflows are, I will post up a short, or I'll do a post on my channel. Okay. I don't have the actual inflows in front of me. The official ones have not been released yet. So when I have the official ones, they will be there for you. But I want you to see we can gather some basic information. So we had a sell off at the beginning. This is normal. And then look at the volume coming in. Volume versus the selling volume. This is good. This is a good thing. This means we have more volume coming in than we do going out. This creates order creations. Order creations pull XRP off of supply. So keep a lookout for some shorts coming down the pipeline later on today, updating you guys on the inflows and anything that may be going on with these ETFs. This has been an amazing stream. I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like. I do this every single day, Monday through Friday, and I do a weekly roundup at the end of the week, touching base on everything that's happened throughout the week. Okay, I appreciate you all, and I'll catch you on the next video. Later.